What it do, cucksties? It's your boy the Hater, and it's time for a culture vid. This culture vid is going to be broadly about masculinity and femininity, but also American society, and narrowly about our boy Kanye West. All right. So here's the thesis of this video. Here's the thesis statement, right? American society and culture has deteriorated to a point of nearly no return, cuckolds. Thesis off the dome, just like that. What I mean by this is that American society and the mechanisms which drive people's behaviors have become more and more individualistic over time, right? Where individuals are encouraged to do whatever feels good without consideration for other people that may be around them or may be part of their groups or even society at large, right? I'll give you a great example. If the Hater is walking down the street and I have the urge to take a piss, right? I will hold the piss in until I find a bathroom and so I can urinate properly. Now, obviously, in my youth, if it's like 3 a.m. and I'm drunk, I might piss on the corner, right? But that's not a good thing. I'm not proud of that, right? The idea is we hold our urges in all the time, right? I might have the urge to crash my car into somebody because they cut me off, but then I think to myself, wait a second, is this worth it? Does this guy deserve this kind of embarrassment, damage, etc.? Do you deserve this kind of damage, humiliation, and legal consequences? And I usually, and well, with driving, I've never, crashed on someone on purpose, but, I understand that we can't do this, right? In other words, I hold in my urges. Nowadays, people are told, what? You have an urge? Pursue it. Not only pursue it, but we've labeled urges to be noble, right? So it's like, for example, there's a phenomenon called slut shaming, right? Which came out like 10, 15 years ago, where basically people were like, oh, you're shaming me for being a slut. That's right. That's exactly what I'm doing. And the idea that like somehow they flipped the script on this motherfucker, right? They're like, the person shaming the slut is the bad guy, and the slut is empowered to follow her urges. Think about that. The entire philosophy, the entire moral code of basically every country in the world is a system that tells you that certain urges must be suppressed, right? This ranges from the urge to be naked instead of being clothed, from sexual urges, which include like things like having sex before marriage, having gay sex, having sex with like people and things you aren't supposed to have sex with, etc., right? And I don't just mean like, pedophiles and things like that, but even, for example, like the urge to sleep with your neighbor's wife, let's say, right? You may want to do that, but you look at the commandments and you look at general convention and you learn, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. Society doesn't like people that fuck other people's wives, right? And there's a reason for that. It's an urge that people have acknowledged in the past, and people have thought, wait a second, if everyone fucks each other's wives, shit's gonna go crazy. So how about we make this something that we don't do, right? This is called the social contract. But a social contract can only exist if we have a high trust society, number one, and if two, everyone in society follows the contract, right? Instead of doing this, we have people that are like, I don't want to follow the contract. Fine, don't follow it. Get ready for the consequences. But then those people can't handle the consequences. So what do? They say, why should I have consequences? I'm only following my urges. As if this is some compelling argument. It's like, oh, I only slept with your wife because I was horny, right? Oh, great. And now you expect me to just forgive you and accept this as some sort of behavioral like incongruity and not something that pisses me off? That's the idea, right? That's the problem, cuts. And this brings me to Kanye West. Kanye West, in my opinion, is a great manifestation of the logical conclusion of the deterioration of our culture, as well as the deterioration of masculinity, right? Simple as that. Now, I will preface this by saying that I never really liked Kanye West, right? He's not my type of dude, and he sure as shit is not my type of rapper. I like my entertainers, the male entertainers, to be masculine, and the female entertainers to be feminine. That's just what I like. Sue me, cuckolds. First time I saw Kanye, I was like, I could smell the insecurity off of him. He is top most insecure people of all time on TV. And immediately, the first time I saw him, I think he was wearing like green contacts. I'm like, this guy's clearly gay, I'm like, it's only a matter of time before he outs himself or someone outs him, right? He's clearly gay. I don't need any evidence. Now, the hater's got nothing against gay people, but the hater doesn't like people that are not honest, right? So for me, Kanye West, he got all these accolades. People start saying he's a genius because he made flashing lights, you know what I mean? And of course, not everyone bought into it. Obviously, the smarter side of society, like for example, South Park, they caught on to Kanye West real quick with the whole gay fish episode, right? Where they're like, this guy's just insecure and really stupid. That's the whole point of the gay fish thing. People got caught up on the gay fish, but basically it's like he's insecure, so he takes everything seriously, and he's not very bright, right? So people are like, he's a genius, he's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch a Kanye West interview, he's as stupid as it gets. Like, this guy would never be able to, finish, like, a college class, without any help. Or definitely, nothing above that. This guy can't understand Aristotle, but he goes out and he says, like, unironically, he's like, I'm the number one philosopher of all time. It's like, this guy's like one of the dumbest people that we've ever produced, that we've given a platform to. But anyways, this video isn't about that. I just wanted to preface this by saying that I do have some biases that I want to reveal here. This is called reflexivity in academia, right? I want to be able to tell you that this is how I feel, but that I'm not this big Kanye West fan that has been let down. But on the contrary, I'm someone that never was a Kanye West fan. I mean, I like some of his songs, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan. But I'm someone that now is not concerned for him, but I feel bad for him, right? Because the people that know. Basically, Kanye West made a song called Cousins. You know what I mean? And in it, he talks about how when his cousin was 6, Kanye West showed him porno magazines of the homosexual variety, it is implied. And then they reenacted that shit with each other. And Kanye basically was sucking his cousin's cack until he was 14. Now, a couple of things here immediately, right? Some of the defense of this, which I don't think there's anything to defend, right? I mean, it's weird as shit, right? It's something that, like, people will judge you for. But Kanye West, like, he's not doing anything wrong by saying it, right? And when he did it, he did what he did. It's incest and it's gay. Simple as that. But a lot of people are like, well, they didn't know what they were doing. They were small. It's like, they were 14, motherfucks. If you're sucking a cack at 14, like, you know what you're doing. Unless you're retarded, which is possible. Kanye West, I have always thought that he's a little bit intellectually disabled. I'm being completely honest. So it's possible that he didn't understand that what he was doing was sucking cock. Hey, it is what it is. People develop at different rates. But either way, right? Either way, I do empathize with Kanye. I feel bad for him, at least, right? I feel bad because he is clearly going through something, right? But in my opinion, and I want to preface this by saying I'm not being judgmental, but that's a bold-faced lie. I'm going to just say it like it is. In my opinion, if society weren't the way it is, right, Kanye West wouldn't even find himself in this predicament, right? Kanye West is the end product of a society of men that need to be weak, right? That they try to make you weak. They try to make you unthreatening, right? So that nobody's afraid of anybody. And then all of a sudden, the people that normally are afraid are emboldened to yell, right? I'll never forget it. There was this woman, I saw this video on YouTube. There was this woman, typical like white lady, and she's yelling at this white man in his face. It's some college campus, but these are grown people. These are people in their 40s or 50s, right? And she's like, you're a white man, blah, 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 patriarchy this, patriarchy that. And the guy's just sitting there, just absorbing it all. And I thought to myself, if this woman went to Afghanistan and did this, that'd be it, motherfucks. They'd drag her through the street via goat. You know what I mean? If she did this in like Africa, absolutely not. If she did this in like anywhere in Europe that's not like Western Europe, the same shit would happen. Nobody's gonna tolerate someone yelling at your face. Forget about the man-woman dynamic. It's the respect-disrespect dynamic, right? You're not gonna yell in my face. I'm gonna at least push you, right? Now, if it's a woman, I'll just walk away. But this guy just took it, Good for him. He's a proper Western man. But think about the irony, right? She's yelling at this guy about the patriarchy. She wouldn't have the balls to do this in Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Because the hater has known some real feminists. The hater knows a lady who was a feminist in the Iranian Revolution, where she took off her fucking hijab, which was punishable by death, right? And she took to the streets. You know what I mean? Do that shit, right? But she yells at the soft target, at the American, right? And Kanye West is that American. Kanye West is a very soft dude. Now, hey, the hater understands there is room in America for strong men, soft women, and strong women, and any other permutation thereof. But I ask you, let's say you're going to war tomorrow and everyone just gets drafted. It's a massive war. Would you want Kanye West to be to the left or to the right of you? This guy might cry if his Yeezys get scuffed. There is not an ounce of masculinity in Kanye. It's not in him, motherfucks. So all the people that are surprised, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know why you're surprised. Obviously I can't predict that he was doing gay things with his cousin when they were children, but I'm not surprised at all. That answers a lot. That explains why he's so soft and effeminate, because he's been doing things that make you soft and effeminate. If you take on these roles, you will become the role eventually, right? You will become that thing. Now, I can hear some of you getting angry. Oh, not all gay men are soft. Nobody is saying that. But if you want to pretend that the probability of being gay has nothing to do with being softer, then you're just absurd. And it's the same thing with women. Hard women are more likely to be lesbians. Or, on the other side, lesbians are more likely to be hard women. We even have words for this, right? We even have words like butch, bull, stag. We got plenty of words like this, right? And we have words for men who are soft, right? Sissy, wimp, bottom, right? We have all these other types of men. Now, the thing is that people don't want to accept the world as it is, right? They don't want to associate the possibility that, well, if someone is blowing his cousin, this might make him less of a man in the long term, right? To me, this is just axiomatic, right? If you're sucking another man's dick, you're going to be losing part of your masculinity one way or another. I don't care if some postmodernist says, well, no, it's just a different kind of masculinity. We're not talking about different kinds. We're talking about the masculinity that you want next to you in war, right? And again, I'm not saying everyone should be like this. If Kanye West wants to be, like his cousin's fluffer, go ahead, I ain't even worried. But I don't want you next to me in war, right? I don't want you next to me in any capacity where a manly man is required, right? I don't want you to fix my car. I don't want you to do anything where I would typically trust a normal man. And the same thing can be said about women. Women have skills that men don't have and vice versa, right? And some men lean towards the effeminate and some women lean towards the masculine. Kanye West leans towards the effeminate. And again, nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is that this is the end result of what society has done to people, right? Through the integration of porn into everything, right? The sexualization of everything. I don't even blame Kanye, I blame his mother, his overrated ass mother, by the way. Why the fuck do I even know who she is? Oh, it's Kanye West's mother. I don't give a fuck. Fuck her and fuck Kanye West. She's obviously a shit mother for not knowing or tolerating her son and her nephew blowing each other. You know what I mean? It's time for some accountability up in this bitch. That's another thing Americans aren't good at. Look, I did my best, as if that's supposed to be some sort of validation. I did my best. Great, your best wasn't good enough. Now you have to deal with the consequences, cuck. Oh, I did my best as a parent. Well, your son turned out to be a fucking weirdo. Not Kanye West in this case, because I do empathize with the trauma elements of this. Although I personally believe that if you're a man in your late 40s, basically if you're a man past the age of, I'll give you some grace, 26, and you still have traumas, you have unresolved traumas, sit the fuck down, resolve your traumas. Time to man up, motherfucks. Nobody's gonna tell you this except for the hater. Other people will tell it to you weird. They'll be like, oh, well, they'll Andrew Tate it to you. I'm not saying go be an ass. I'm not saying look down on women. The hater loves women. The hater loves everybody. But the reality is, if you have unresolved trauma, whether you're a man, a woman, a trans, a pansexual, a stag, a dog, a deer, an acolyte, it doesn't matter. If you have any unresolved traumas and you're of an age where you are fully developed mentally, you ain't gonna get any smarter. You might get more knowledgeable, but you're not gonna get any smarter than you are after 25, 26. Sit the fuck down, give yourself a head start, and start thinking, okay, this trauma happened. What does this mean? What, if anything, does this say about me? What does it say about the people that did this thing to me, right? And the hater will concede, because the hater is all about being honest. The hater has never experienced any kind of sexual trauma or anything like that, or any kind of familial abuse, So the hater counts himself, I suppose, lucky, although I don't think it's a lucky thing. I think it's these are just things that happen in America and in the West, incest in most of the world is considered what the fuck is wrong with you? It's punishable by death in many countries, And here in America, it's we need to talk about this problem. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like, how about just don't do it? You know what I mean? How hard is it not to do shit? But think about it. Think about it. What if society tells you, hey, you know, this taboo, don't suck your cousin's cock, right? You know, forget it. Who cares about taboos, right? Just do it. It makes you feel good, doesn't it? That's literally the argument that America as a culture has used to push every agenda that has ever been pushed, including the legalization of marijuana, gay rights, everything, right? And some of these things are good. You know, like, who am I to tell you not to smoke weed? Hey, the law says you can smoke weed, smoke away. But if you hang out around me, like, and you're slower than you used to be, like one of my good friends became a pothead back in the day, right? And he was a very sharp guy. Then he smoked so much that he just became slow. Like, he was still smart, but he was not quick. So he was like, you'd ask him a question and he'd hesitate for like 3 seconds. And what do you think I did? I was like, all right. I was like, get it out, motherfucker. Say it faster. I don't have time to deal with your self-inflicted stupidity. You know? No, motherfucker, say it. You know? Spit it out. As John Cena would say, get the marbles out your mouth, boy. Yeah? That's how I roll. You can do whatever you want, but you will have to hear about it from me and other people like me who might not like what you do, right? For example, if the hater had a daughter, right? And my daughter decided to be promiscuous, hey, I'm not going to put her in prison, but I'm going to be like, you disappoint me, right? I'm going to be like, this is not the daughter I raised. But in America, there's this laissez-faire attitude where parents are like, oh, it's okay, my kid's just different. It's like, they don't want to take any accountability for their mistakes. They don't want to take any responsibility for their actions or their lack of actions. So it's much easier to just be like, oh, my son and daughter was just born this way. I will conclude this by one of the funniest jokes I ever heard in my life. If anyone knows who this comedian is, please tell me. It's a fat black guy. It's not Patrice, and I don't believe it's Earthquake. So if there's another fat black guy that has said this joke, please tell me who it is because I want to find it again. But basically, this fat black guy in a comedy special, he says, when I went to school, he's like, my teacher thought I was retarded, right? So she calls my mom and she says, like, whatever, James, whatever the guy's name is, he's acting up. I'm pretty sure he's retarded, right? So James's mother says, send him home. I bet you he won't be retarded tomorrow. In other words, right? James's mom, James is just the name I'm using, so figure out the comic if you guys know. His mom was like, I'm not tolerating this shit, right? It's her responsibility to educate James in this case, right? If he's acting retarded, she's going to try to make him not act retarded, right? The implications, of course, in the joke were that she was going to beat the retard out of him, which is, you know, maybe not the best solution for most children. But the idea is that the underpinnings are that she was not okay with her son being retarded. That she was like, wait a second, motherfucker. No, my son's not retarded, right? I'm going to discipline him so when he comes back tomorrow, he says, yes, ma'am, and does his work, right? And that was the point of the joke. We don't do that anymore. Now it's like, do whatever the fuck you want, man. You're a genius. He made graduation. Well, how far is this going to go? Like, there's people like me, the South Park guys, a few of my friends, obviously other people that were like, Kanye West is fucking weird, and not in a musical genius kind of way. He's weird in a cringe, douchebag kind of way. You can make the argument that Kanye West was the beginning of the turn, where all of a sudden rappers, and you can say what you want, motherfuckers, but Nelly coming out jacked with a wife beater and a band-aid on his face saying, must be the money, was cool as shit. Then Kanye West comes out and he's like, right down through the wire. Even the song's like effeminate, right? Through the wire. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, that's when rap stopped being cool. The guy's like, oh, yeah, I drink this scissor for breakfast. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, man. All these dorky-ass rappers then followed through, like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and apparently I hear that Kendrick Lamar also made a song about being molested. What the fuck is up with these rappers, by the way? This can't be a coincidence. It's like all these rappers either have been like molested, which God forbid, that's a crime. That's horrible, right? Like Kendrick Lamar, from what I understand, he was molested by like a grown-up. You know, that's fucked up. You can't do anything about that, right? But what is the connection? They're either weird sexually, they're being molested, or like it's like all these tough guy rappers have been just like railed out by P. Diddy, you know? P. Diddy is like the most masculine rapper now because they've all just taken it willingly from P. Diddy so he can boost their rap career. Nah, man, you know, that's why the hater knew all along. That's why I like the cool rappers. Eminem, 50 Cent, who's been standing up to this the whole time. These are my kind of guys. Nelly, I like. You know what I'm saying? They got Cat Williams. He's not a rapper, I know, but, it's that kind of attitude that, like, I'm not going to back down. As Public Enemy, since we're talking about rap, as Public Enemy once said, my heroes don't appear in no stamps. Cuck olds.